I walk it like I talk it. Affirmation, living mind. Words, spark, power. Living affirmation, mind. Every step daily. Left, right, the world blessed living. Let your words speak life. I can do it, you can do it, she can do it, he can do it. I can do it, you can do it, she can do it, he can do it. Affirmation, mind. Positively breathe. Affirmation, living mind. Now follow my lead. Wow. Go, 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 go.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Affirmation podcast, a podcast about extraordinary people who turn life's positive words into life's affirming actions. I'm your host, Stephen Hollingsworth, and in each episode, I interview people with some names you know and others you should get to know, who through wins and lessons, determination, and God-given talent have changed their community and the world. They speak life and they live it. Today, I would like to introduce you to an outstanding young lady that is a true living affirmation in every sense of the phrase. She is an artist, speaker, and an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, the owner and CEO of Paint with Angelique LLC and Angelique's Community Arts Center, Miss Angelique Daniels. Hello, Miss Daniels. How are you doing?
Hello, I am good. Happy to be here.
Oh, no, I'm so happy to have you as a guest. You are such a light to this community, a light to me personally, and a light to anyone, I think, who has had the pleasure of getting to know you.
Oh, thank you.
But the thing about it is, I want to know about you, and I want the world to know about you. So tell me a little bit about Miss Angelique. How did it all start as a little girl? Were you into art or what happened?
Well, I was born a poor Black girl. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't. I am from Ypsilanti, Michigan, about 45 minutes west of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
As a little girl, I always used to draw the pictures out of coloring books.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't color the coloring books, I drew the pictures. So early on, I knew I had a gift. And in elementary school, I would always win the contests that were in the classrooms. But my parents didn't really know what to do with the gift, so I wasn't really pushed into the arts.
Mm-hmm.
I was pushed more to like business and things like that. So I ended up going to college I went to Eastern Michigan University and got a degree in business. And then I came to Las Vegas and I couldn't find a job. So I did what got me through college, and that was working in the restaurant business. So I was really good at it, but it wasn't my passion. It was just something that I could do. It was just like, I've always been a leader. I'm the middle child of three. And I always bossed my brothers and sisters around, my brother and my sister around. So I've always had that leadership quality. And so I went into restaurants when I came to Vegas. I worked for Darden, for Olive Garden, as a restaurant manager for 28 years. And it was, like I said, it was just something that I could do well. So I wasn't happy to be in the restaurant business. So I was like, if I got to be here, I'm going to be the best person here. So I was the general manager, and I ran I ran two of them in Vegas, and then I quit because I wanted to have children and I wanted to be a good mom. I didn't want to work those crazy hours that restaurant managers do. So 7 years into working at Olive Garden, I quit. And then they asked me to come back. They made me the first part-time manager. And I only worked 3 days a week. And I thought I would be able to do that for the rest of my life, right? I was like, 3 days? I could do that forever. They're going to have to push me out of here, right? Stock options, vacation. And then I've always done art, though. I've always done art, and I was continuing to do art as a side hustle. And I got into I got to work with a famous artist throughout the time span of graduating from coming out to Vegas. I met an artist that I worked with a lot, and she was my inspiration. And I just kept doing both, working at the restaurant, and we all have a story in entrepreneurship, like the side hustle thing, right?
But
But it was hard.
but when you talked about how did you end up in Las Vegas? What
running
brought
away,
you here?
running, running away from a bad relationship, like
Mm-hmm.
like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Running away from a bad relationship. So my first marriage, and I mean, it wasn't like I was getting it wasn't physically abusive or anything like that. I was young, and I knew that if I stayed in Michigan, I would keep going back. So I had my grandma lived out here, and she had been out here 10 years by herself. And so I just scoped the map and I said, I don't want to go down south. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm going to try the West Coast thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended in up in Las Vegas. Yeah.
So but you managed not to end up in a casino.
I thought that's what I wanted to do because my degree was in HR
Mm-hmm.
and human resource management. So I thought I wanted to be in a casino, but then I realized it was a lot of who right, in the casinos. And so that's why I just ended up going to what I knew, which was restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was able to get promoted, move up so easily, so quickly, I was like, okay, this is a good company. I'll just do this for a little while. And then a little while turned into like 28 years. But 3 days a week, like that
Yeah.
was pretty sweet gig. And I really did think I was going to do it forever. But it comes to a point where your passion just starts taking over. And I just thought, man, what if I could give 100% to my passion?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, as we get older, like it was getting too hard to do both. And then I was just like, not like engaging and talking to my people like I should, because a lot of times I would do a party and then I change my clothes at a restaurant I would change my clothes at a like a Panda Express or a Starbucks. They had the cleanest restrooms, right? I would change my clothes and then I would go and close. I always worked the closing shift at Olive Garden. And that just got to be like too much. And I just kept thinking, man, what if I could just give my 100% to my passion? What could I do? So
What happens though? You said that you wanted to be a mom. So you have children?
yeah. Yes, I have my son Miles, he's 23, and my daughter Eliza, she's 20. And that was just really important to me, right? I don't see how I could be a full-time restaurant manager because I was running the restaurant as a general manager with like 100 employees under me, right? And that's why I quit. I said, and I was honest in my exit interview. I said, I just don't see how I could do this job and be a good mom. So I was gone from Olive Garden for about a month, and I went to do property management, like a 9 to 5. Somebody got me this job. And they called me about a month after I was gone, and they said, we really listened to what you said, and we want to make you an offer. And that's how I went back to work 3 days a week. So for the last like 20 of it, I was working only 3 days. Yeah, and still couldn't handle it.
Yes. So being that working and also being the mom and knowing that there's the passion that was within you. What was your first passion that you had growing up? What was your first passion that you thought that you wanted to do?
I thought I wanted to be a police officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I thought I was really into this authoritative thing, right? Telling people what to do. But I wanted to be a police officer, and then I was going to join the Air Force, and I was hoping like I could be like an MP in the Air Force. But I did the ASVAB thing and scored really high, and then I've always been a big girl, and I had to lose like 15 pounds, 10 or 15 pounds. And I had never dieted before. And I'm only like 17, 18 years old. And I tried to diet, and I said, oh, I guess God doesn't want me to do this.
Mhm.
And that's why I ended up going to school instead. Yeah. So as soon as I got out here, I met my husband, Will. He works, he was in the Air Force. So I met him at Nellis Air Force Base.
Mhm. Oh,
And
okay.
like shortly after I got out here.
Mhm.
So we've been together for like almost 30 years now, which
See
is
that?
insane.
See, that's
Yeah.
really that's that love. I love to hear about that. Um,
Hmm.
the fact that you talked about, you said a big girl. Now I know you. Now how
Uh,
big girl? What do you
a
mean?
big girl by, it wasn't a factor like in my life as
Mm,
far as my self-esteem or anything. It never played a factor until I got on the scale to join the Army.
mm,
The Air Force, and they told me I was like 10 or 15 pounds overweight. So that wasn't something, my weight had never been anything that I was concerned about growing up. I was a pretty confident kid. I don't have a hard story, about growing up. My childhood was pretty decent. My mom and dad were married 20 years. They were both in the house. They got divorced later, and that was traumatic in high school when they did get divorced. But I don't really have any hard stories about growing up, which has helped me. Of course, that's the foundation for a lot of different things. So I've always been the fun kid, my mom's favorite, um, teacher's pet at school. So that's helped me a lot to take a chance, I think, or take a risk or believe in myself. I hear, I work with so many women and I hear these stories about never feeling that they're good enough,
mhm,
And of course, the whole imposter syndrome, and, you hear that. I'm not like, it doesn't affect me at all. But yeah, I don't, I'm very fortunate that I didn't have like a really hard upbringing, The hard things came as an adult,
mhm.
you know. My trauma came like as an adult,
So,
And yeah. But art
Angelique,
has always brought me through those tough times. Like always, I've
mm,
always when I came out here to Vegas, I came out here with a sketch pad and I drew all kinds of things from my grandmother all the time. It's
mm,
always been very comforting and therapeutic for me.
mm. So I know when I first met you, you were speaking. You were speaking, and I remember your first presentation that you did in one of the Toastmasters clubs. And
Oh yeah.
as you were speaking, I want to know a little bit about your speaking and what brought that on and how did that help you when it came to your passions.
After I had my children, I did gain quite a bit of weight, and then I got really, into like physical fitness and everything.
Mm-hmm,
So I just started walking every day and jumping rope. And then I had lost like 60 pounds in a year.
mm-hmm,
And I got so tired of telling the story. Like everybody kept asking me how I did it, how I did it, how I did it. And then so I just thought to write the book, this
mm-hmm,
little book.
mm-hmm,
So after I wrote the book, you really have to be a speaker to sell your book.
mm-hmm,
And then I ran a couple of women's groups and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, I need to be a better speaker, learn to tell my story
mm-hmm,
better. So that's when I joined Toastmasters.
mm-hmm,
And I've always loved personal development and everything. And Toastmasters is just such a great environment to meet like-minded, goal-oriented people and to, hone in on your speaking skills. So that's where all that came from. And um but I didn't really want to do that after a while. I got tired of telling the story about losing weight, and then I flipped my story to achieving your goals,
mm-hmm.
because losing weight is about
Goals
your
are
mindset and
mm-hmm,
and focusing and achieving your goals. That I enjoy.
mm-hmm,
So then I started speaking about how to achieve your goals, and
mm-hmm,
And then I'm, living testament to that, because I'm always like looking for the next thing. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? But I feel really good now because I know I'm walking in my purpose.
Now, at what point in time, I know you were starting to develop your passions. At what point in time did your passion start to just eat at you to where you knew that you had to give in?
And like totally surrender and like leave my job kind of thing.
Well, I know as
Or how did I know it was art?
yeah, I mean, because you have to have that feeling. Something has
Yeah,
to give you that, well, yeah, I
it's
might want to listen.
yeah, it's funny because I did try a million things.
Mm,
Like I just tried everything, and that's the
mm,
advice I would tell people. Even if people talk about you and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing now?" or
mm,
whatever. Especially when you're young, like try everything until you figure out that one thing that clicks, right? And I did. I was doing some crazy stuff. I mean, I was selling shoes at one point. I don't know if you remember that. I had a mobile store that
mm,
I flipped. I bought this old truck and I flipped it into a mobile store and I sold these shoes. And um, but the silly part, the funny part is art, like even when I wrote that book, I designed the cover of the book that I did. Art has always been a part. And when I was selling shoes, I started drawing these little pictures of shoes and putting motivational sayings in my truck. Walk in faith, walk in love, walk in this and that.
mm,
And then one of my mentors said, "Can you really paint? Can you really draw? Why are you just doing shoes? Why aren't you playing full out with this gift that you have?" And I was like, huh.
mm,
That's a good question.
yeah.
And so I didn't like selling the shoes. The
Mm,
truck was like a hard thing to maintain.
mm,
And people would come in the truck and they would talk more about the art, my little pictures, than they did the shoes.
mm,
And it was just a mess, right? And
mm,
I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go with the art thing because that's what I've always loved to do. And when my mentor said that, that made a lot of sense to me. And so I got my first place. It was down on Fremont Street, not in the cool part, because
mm,
I was still raising my family and everything. And money is funny when you're raising your family, two kids and sports and all that kind of stuff. And then I had I had left my pretty good paying job as a general manager to work part-time. So I only made 60% of my salary.
yeah.
So we were struggling, but I was always doing art as a side hustle, always. And I found a little place, my first place, Fremont Street. It was $200 a month. And it was sketch area, very sketch. And I told my husband, I said, I will never be down here at night. I just want a place where I can do my art. And so I would go there and do art, and you're going to love this. I would just do motivational talks.
Yeah.
Every Saturday. I did coffee. What did I call it? I called it, I think I called it the art of motivation, which I'm going back to that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So people came down and I had a PowerPoint put together about following your passion and your dreams. And many, many people came through there. And when you talk about like that moment where you knew, I was like, dang, I don't even know if I would come see me down in this place. I was like, I don't even know if I would. I think I would pull up and be like, Angelique is tripping and make a big U-turn. But when I tell you people showed up, like the coolest people showed up, and I paid a homeless guy to watch the cars. I did. I bought him a vest from Home Depot. I paid him to watch. And I just did little motivational talks every weekend and just built a community on that, and people would leave like $5 or $10, and some people would give me $100. I got 100 a couple times. So yeah, it made me realize, the more you do stuff, and I pay attention to what people say, right? And people were enjoying it and people were showing up. And that's why I tell people to try everything. Just try everything until it clicks, Yeah. And when my mentor told me that, and then when people were showing up like that, I was like, wow. But I really knew that I can make a living at it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's when it really, really blew up, because I had a different place at that time, and I was doing virtual stuff. So people would pull up, and I would put their paint kits in their trunk, and then they would meet me on Facebook and Facebook Live. So that was another pivotal moment where I was like, you know what? I think I can really leave. And I found value in my work, how I was helping people with get through the pandemic and bringing joy to people. Like, they were families like sitting around a big screen TV, and they would send me pictures of me on their TV while they were painting with me, and send me, and I would get all these pictures when they were finished. And I was like, wow, I'm making a difference. And that's when you know you're in the right lane, right? You're making a difference.
Now, you talked about trying some of everything, but here's the thing. How did you know everything that you needed to put together to make your kits, to make everything so that it was so affordable, and to make it where they had everything that they were going to need to be successful? Where'd you come up with that?
That's funny, because it was a process, because everything had to be disposable, right? And everything had to and it had to make sense, like financial, money wise. The math had to math, So I just I had another mentor in that area that did paint parties. And I asked a lot of questions with her. She did like some paint kits, but I didn't use everything that she told me. I just kind of kept tweaking it and tweaking it. It was bumpy a little bit too, because I would forget stuff. And if you forgot something, I'm really, really into customer service. So I would bring it to your house. And Vegas might not seem that big to California people, but North Las Vegas, from Henderson, going past Far Hills to give somebody 2 paintbrushes, so make you tighten up your system, right?
Yes.
So I had checklist and just trial and error, really, like just trial and error. I love a good system from being in the restaurant business, right? I love a good assembly line and checklist and systems in place. Like, I would triple check things. I still triple check things now. So and YouTube University, right? Always looking, always reading, always there's very few new ideas, right? So looking at other people that are at the top of the game in the industry. And there's a whole paint party conference like every year. Like, it's kind of crazy. So just doing the homework. Doing the homework.
That's something. It's to be honest with you, I thought it was so unique when you started doing those things, because I thought that it allowed people to be able to enjoy art where they were, especially during the pandemic time, but to allow people to actually take the time to get to not only to enjoy what they were doing, but also to enjoy being with people when they had the chance to, and with the families and being together during the pandemic. That was awesome. It did make a huge difference to a lot of people. So to be able to see your videos and to see how positive you are, where did the positivity come from?
Just in general. I don't know. I guess I was just, like I said, just very fortunate in my upbringing, and then recognizing the blessings along the way. Like today, I'm really just I feel so blessed that it's very rare that I have a down day, from being able to, I can just, we all have a list of blessings, but like, I really hold those, even the small ones, the small victories from just having enough sense to move to Las Vegas was a great, from Michigan was good for me. When I bought my first house right on plan that I wanted, everything was when I wanted my kids, That was planned.
Mhm.
And every goal that I've set for myself, I've managed to achieve. And I realize it's not all on my own, right? It's with God's grace that I've been able. So I feel that there is favor on my life, and I'm learning to play the matrix, as they say, like really lean into it and say, "Whew, what else can I do?
Yeah.
If I keep doing this and I keep getting it, and I keep setting this goal and I keep achieving it, it's making me dream a little bit bigger, you know? And I think progress builds excitement, right? When you have progress in your life, when you have something to look forward to, that makes people that generates excitement. Like if you don't have any progress, you don't have anything going on, that's when you're bored, that's when you reach out for other, coping strategies that aren't so healthy, and I think that's why I'm so happy. I mean, to have this place, it was a pretty big a goal, and I tried to get this place about 4 years ago and I couldn't get it. So when I set my sight on it again, I printed out a big 16 by 20 poster and of my logo and everything before I even had it, and I taped it on the front door over the leasing side and visualize myself and being in the space. It's walking distance from my home, which is another blessing. And I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna set this goal. I'm gonna pay attention. So if it's super, super hard, and I'll know it's not the timing still isn't there. And they made me jump through a few hoops, but the hoops made sense. And so I was like, okay, I did what they told me. When I got the keys, I was like, wow.
Now, see, that's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me the art center, your art center, your community art center. Tell me so that everyone knows, what is your vision for your community art center and why they should take it and understand that this is their art center. This is where people should.
Yes. So it's a free place to paint. Angelique's Community Art Center is a free place to paint because I'm serious about introducing everyone to the joy and the healing power of art. So to do that authentically, I had to remove the barriers, right? And usually a barrier is financial, right? And so I thought, if I can think of a way, and I said, I can get these little canvases. And so I got these little 4x4 canvases, and I thought, I have a nonprofit. I can have the nonprofit support the lease on the building. And so I just put it all together with that in mind. That's the biggest thing to me about the art center, is that everyone be exposed. In schools, they're taking art out of schools. There's no hardly any extracurricular activities. And for grown-ups, well, the whole world is in it needs some nurturing, right? Mental health is a big issue. Everybody's struggling. And I realized when I do these paint parties, I have never had, and I've probably done over 500 paint parties. I've been doing paint parties for about 10 years. I've never had anyone go, I hated this. This sucked. I hated it. Don't bring, I love when men come, because my audience is primarily female, because they don't expect to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I've had men come up to me and say, this was way more than I expected. And I love that, because I really try to over deliver with the services that I provide. So really, the Angelique's Community Art Center is a free place to paint, to introduce everyone to the joy and healing power of art. Now, my name is on there, Angelique, for brand recognition, right? But it's also because when you walk into the space, there's a story everywhere. It's a lot of me in this space, a lot of my story in this space. So I actually, I've been inviting people down to have a tour, because I have the Donate Life section there, because I'm a kidney donor. And my nonprofit is called Paint for Kidneys. My husband received my kidney in August of 2019. So I always wear this Donate Life bracelet. And whenever I have an opportunity to talk about the importance of organ donations and transplants, I try to do that in conversation with people. But now I have this designated station, if you will, in my art center. So I am a reference center for organ donation and transplant, like endorsed by Donate Life, the Nevada Donor Network, and the Health and Human Services. So I have my own QR code. So everybody that comes in here, I talk to them about it so they can scan the code, shows the traffic and the impact that I'm having in the community, and hopefully give me some grant money.
You know what?
Support the lease.
You know what? I really want to talk to you about that. I want you to share with us about the story of what happened with the donation and how you ended up becoming a donor for your husband.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast, but I'll make it short and sweet. So my husband got from high blood pressure.
Mhm.
That's what caused the stress on his kidney, and eventually led to kidney failure. He had to go on dialysis for 2.5 years. I always knew from the very beginning, I knew I was O negative because I used to donate blood in college, and I knew that was a universal donor, but I wasn't healthy enough to give him my kidney right away. My iron was low. I had to do a couple different things. I had to have a couple surgeries. So my husband didn't want me to give him my kidney because a man is the man, right?
Yeah.
And he's supposed to take care of the family. So my husband did not want me to give him my kidney. And I convinced him that, again, my husband's from Oklahoma, so he knows the Bible frontwards and backwards way better than I do. But I told him, I said, I believe it's called favor for us to be compatible. And I said, and he finally listened to me. And what we did, we agreed that if he came up on the list, his name was on the transplant list, right? And then we agreed that whichever came up first, like if I got healthy first or his name come up first, that's the direction he would go. And 2.5 years, I got healthy enough before his name came up on the list. So we did the surgery at Mayo Clinic on August 7th, 2019 in Arizona, because UMC Hospital didn't have the best reputation. And when I found out that Mayo Clinic took our insurance, I was like, we're gonna do this. It was hard, very, very difficult. There's only 2 transplants they do now in Nevada. They do kidney and I think liver here now. If you need any other kind of transplant, you have to go out of the state. And they're working on that. Nevada Donor Network is making some progress with that. But it was tough. It was 2 teenagers, a job, a side hustle, and being a mom and trying to keep everybody's spirits up. Art took me through that. God took us through it. Of course, he had his hand on us. But I painted a whole series through that. They have one of my paintings at Mayo Clinic. It's been, art played a big role in that. So another blessing, that my husband is doing well 5 years later. And yes, I know it's crazy. I'm like so happy. Like, how does that even happen? And we never want to lose sight of that blessing. Like we laid in bed that, when we were able to go home, and we go, can you believe that? Can you believe that they actually took a piece of me out of it literally put it in a bowl, carried it to the next room, picked it up, and it worked. So there was a lot of tears that day and we just never want to just think, oh, that was something that we did. So I think anybody can do that. Like, just count your blessings. Like, and if you count those blessings, it'll give you the courage to try bigger things, right?
But see, that's that living affirmation right there. The fact that not only did that happen, but you guys lived it, and you're still living it because you're still pushing forward, helping other people. instead of just letting that, just saying, okay, we're going to live our lives, that happened. No, you're working to help other people. You're
I can't imagine just saying, yeah, that was something. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Everybody that knows us knows that
yeah,
that happened. That
yeah,
was a big deal. And I even tell my kids, I'm like, there's favor on our family. Like
yeah,
that's a big deal that was able to happen. And I hope it encourages you to take more risk,
yeah.
and for me, for us, it was the
Mm-hmm,
kidney thing. But in
mm-hmm,
other people's lives, when you take a look at those things that God has brought you through, it
mm-hmm,
should give you more courage to dream bigger and to do bigger things.
mm-hmm,
And like, it's so funny because getting this place is what I've always wanted. Like, I actually am walking in my dream right now, and
mm-hmm,
it still kind of really hasn't totally sunk in. To be honest
mm-hmm.
with you, it's been a month now since I've opened,
Yeah,
but it's I thought like, okay, I'm here. Now I just want to elevate everything that I've been doing. But no, now it's making me dream bigger, even
and
bigger. What
and that's
impact can I really have in the community?
I
What
don't think you
impact can I really have, you know?
I don't think you know the impact that you're having. I think it's far greater than even you know. I think
Oh, thank
your
you.
name is out there, and I don't think you know it yet, but it's coming. I really do believe that it's coming. Now,
Thank you.
now, one of the things about the living affirmation is I wanted to see when I start choosing guests, I look for an affirmation, and then when I look at the affirmations, I say, well, what guest actually fits this? And when I saw these affirmations that I'm gonna read to you, I saw you. And the first affirmation I saw is I am fearless in pursuit of my goals. That is you to a T. I think about the things that you do, and it doesn't seem like you're one person that allows anything to stop them from pursuing what it is that they're passionate about. Now, is that true? Is that you?
um there's nothing that stop. Yeah, it's a muscle though, right?
Yeah.
It's as I accomplish a goal, you get a little stronger. Accomplish another goal, you get a little stronger. You learn to not you learn to minimize your distractions, right?
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm,
tell anybody, when you're like, especially this entrepreneurship thing or whatever you're going after, you got to get your IQ and your EQ, like your
mm-hmm,
emotional quotient has to be bigger than your intellect for real,
mm-hmm,
because there, especially as a female, there's just a lot of people,
mm-hmm,
that really like hurt my feelings or didn't respond the way or do keep their word, or and it would get me like so upset.
mm-hmm,
So those are some things that I had to really work through.
mm-hmm.
But as far as being like scared, like in terms of being fearless,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm pretty, it's pretty hard to shake me now,
That's,
especially after that kidney transplant, after I brought my family through all that emotionally and physically.
mm-hmm,
Like usually it's emotional, right? Where
mm-hmm,
you have to, like, I'm uplifting my kids. I had to have them have a social worker, had to
mm-hmm,
make sure they were right, had to uplift my husband because he's
mm-hmm,
sad and depressed.
mm-hmm,
He's sick. And then now, the kid, and that was just a big thing. So those things help me become a
mm-hmm,
little bit more,
mm-hmm,
fearless, or a stronger person.
mm-hmm.
And if you look back, like I said, and for me, it's the kidney thing. If most people look back at their victories, it'll make you push forward a little bit harder. And I've had some great mentors too. I mean, I've had some mentors that have been through the fire and they're still pushing forward and they're still reaching for their goals. And your tribe, the people that you hang around, that's a big deal to to keep you moving forward, who you're hanging around. Just all those little things that you hear in personal development, and like we heard in Toastmasters too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So true.
That's true. Now, there's something that I've actually heard you say. I'm not sure if I can get the right wording, but I'm going to try it. If you want your dreams to come true, help other people make theirs come true.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I did say
Now
that.
I
I
want to
did
know
say that. I
what
think
makes
that's
you.
a Zig Ziglar quote.
Yeah, tell me
That's a
what
Zig.
makes you hold on to things like that.
First, I just love personal development, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because it parallels the Bible so much,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to get people to connect with more so
Mm-hmm.
personal development. If you help enough people to get what you want, what they want, you can get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about just the law of reciprocity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come back. You're sowing
Yeah.
seeds. It's going to come back to you, you know?
Yeah. And
And I
that's
sincerely believe that. So I just help people and don't worry about the world is it has a surplus of it all.
mm-hmm.
And what's for you is going to be for you. And learning to walk in love and really, really do unto others as you would have them do unto you. All
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is just so important. But I have seen, I really do sometimes to a fault help people and
Yeah.
have to catch myself. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's enough. I tell myself you've done enough, for that person, or I've learned a few lessons along the way,
Mm-hmm.
but I really do try to help people when I can,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
it
see,
does come back to you.
I have another one. This affirmation I saw, and this one also made me think of you. My current situation is not my final destination. I have the ability and strength to accomplish my goals.
Mm,
I think you're so strong to
yeah.
be able to push through, and it doesn't mean that we don't have weak moments.
Mhm.
I think we all have the weak moments, but the ability to continue to go, not allowing something just to say it's not going to happen. The fact that you pushed through and got this center, the fact
Yeah.
that you pushed through and look at you with your husband now,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact that
And
you didn't let nothing stop you, regardless of what it was. You pushed forward, and look at you now.
and Steve, it really does make you think, what else can I do?
Yeah, but everybody doesn't have that. See.
That's where I'm at now. I'm like, what else can I'm like, okay, now I'm here. I just want to elevate in every area that I have my, when people give me, a lot of people give me advice. I'm sure from what you're doing with the podcast and everything, what you should be doing. And I have an iron in every pot that I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Every I can't think of everything. I just need to elevate. You're like, I'm in that space. I just need to elevate it. Or I'm in this space and I just need to elevate it. But yeah, it's exciting because it makes you think, what else can I do? And I've had, the two mentors that I've had, they're like, they were millionaires and they came from very humble beginnings. And I was very close to both of them. And that gave me the encouragement too, like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm going to just keep on doing it and recognize each blessing along the way. And now I do a lot of meditating now and really trying to hear from God, like what my next move is.
Mhm.
I do a lot of work in quiet now, where I used to have music and a lot of things going on all the time. I spend a lot of time quiet, just thinking about what's next and trying to hear from God, to go in the right direction.
So I have a question for you. If you could give advice to a 8-year-old Angelique,
Mm-hmm.
back when you were 8 years old, go back and give yourself advice. What would you tell her? What would be your message to her?
I would say be more confident.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say be more confident. Um, I don't know. I didn't know how I think I would have learned a lot more or I would have had more opportunities if I would have been more confident in my gift, you know? So I think a lot of women struggle with that today, just being more confident and not being afraid to shine your light, and just play full out with stuff. But yeah, I would tell myself to be more confident in everything that I did. That's
Yeah,
probably a good for
I
kids
was going to
today.
say that. Yeah, it's a good message for everybody. Now, what would you give? What would you want to say to the audience right now, if you were going to give them a word that would help brighten some of their loads, because so many people are going through so much, especially during these days. What would be something that you can tell them about their passions, or about art, or about you, and making their lives some better?
We all need a coping strategy, right? We all need an escape. So, and I would encourage them to try new things. I would love for them to come paint with me, but something in the arts or whatever brings you joy, whether it's, walking in nature, or I tell people to make a list. I had a list during the pandemic of all the things that brought me joy. I don't just do art. Maybe it's walking through the farmer's market or going, but make yourself a list that when things get rough, you can go to your list and say, oh, I don't want to do that today, but maybe this or maybe that. But the arts for me, um, there's neuroscience behind all this stuff, that there really is something chemically with your endorphins and all that goes on when you do a creative activity or when you complete a task that you look back and you're just like, I did that, and that's what I'm studying now, what exactly happens when you do that. So I really love the space of team building and art as therapy. I've been doing some of those things. I've been working with behavioral health companies, Mingo Behavioral Health. They called me and I've done breakouts with them, and Restorative Behavioral Health Company. I've done some breakouts with them. And just to see people open up and how, like I just said earlier, I've never had a bad paint session because there's something that goes on physically in your neurons, and that you can't prevent it from happening. It just happens. So my new tagline when I was talk about art, I said, just let the art do what it do.
Yes.
Just I don't really have to do anything. I provide the space. And then now I'm so confident in it. It's so funny. It's so fun to watch the art do what it do. Because I had some teenagers in here, and I haven't worked much with kids. And the youth advocate program, I had a teenager down here. I'm going to have 5 down here tomorrow. And the guy walked in, and he was 19 years old. He didn't really look like he wanted to be here. But by the end, Steve, when his mentor went to the bathroom, and he was talking to me, he was asking me questions, and I was just like, oh my God, I love this,
Yeah, that's a great
So
thing.
we all need a coping strategy. Find yours, and a healthy one, not drinking, smoking, eating sugar. Like, find your healthy coping strategy. Make yourself a list and go to it when you're feeling a little down. It's very, very helpful. Helped me a lot.
So what is next for the great Miss Angelique?
What's next? Filling up the center on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Having people. That's the thing that I envision now. Is I want a constant flow of people coming in, being known in the community, having a very diverse group of people, from the housewife that's at home that's tired of being at home, to the troubled teen that needs an outlet, to my regular group of painting and sipping ladies with the DJ. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a go-to destination, like people are like, I'm going to Angelique's.
Mhm.
And it's all by reservation
Yeah.
because I'm a one-woman show. I'm open 12 to 8 and I'm closed Monday and Tuesday.
Mhm.
So they call me and make a reservation for their paint session. But you really can't paint here for free. So I smile when I think about it because I know it's coming. Like
Yes,
it's
it
pretty
is.
quiet.
It
I'm
is
telling you,
coming.
it's pretty quiet right now. It's pretty quiet right now. But I know there's going to be a day where people are just going to be coming in and
Yes.
painting, and the word's going to get out. So I am anxious in a way
Mhm.
to, but I know that these little steps add up to
Mhm.
big things. They really do, just a little bit at a time. Because this place, Steve, was a mess. I had the light. One day I had the plumber,
Mhm.
the electrician, the lot guy. I was getting bids on the flooring, but my restaurant experience helped me
Yeah.
in orchestrating all that. But yeah, those little tiny steps, man, they really add up in the end. So if I
Yeah.
had any advice for people working on a big goal, just be patient.
Mhm.
Just really be patient and do your best work. Just
Mhm.
your best, do the best you can every day. Just give it all you have. I tell my friend, it's like, I feel like I take the day like a dish rag and I just try to
Yeah.
squeeze
Squeeze as
every
much as you
little bit
can out of it.
to get out of it. And,
Yes.
and then rest, right?
Yes.
You do have to rest, but I really plan my days and really try to get the most out of every day.
Mhm.
And those little things, they add up to big things. They
Mhm.
really do. So yeah. So my vision is just a party going on every day, art that people are just coming in and sitting down, and if they have their AirPods on and just painting and just really booking me for their birthday parties, their club meetings,
Mhm.
um, or just coming to look at the art or look at my Annie Lee section
Mhm.
and learn about Donate Life and having meetings, just a constant flow. That's what I'm envisioning.
Well, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for all
you.
that you're doing now. I'm excited for everyone to get a chance to get to know you, hear your story,
Thank you.
and to know that you are truly a living affirmation. And I think that it's only a matter of time before that art center is going to be expanding.
Thank
I
you.
believe
I
that. I
appreciate
believe that.
that.
I
And
look forward to talking to
thank you
you.
for having this platform. Thank
Oh,
you for having
definitely.
a platform for us to share our story and share these stories. And congratulations to you.
I thank you for that. And I look forward to talking to you really, really, really soon. You take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye-bye. If you'd like to paint with Angelique or want more information about Angelique's Community Arts Center, visit www.paintwithangeliquelv.com or call 702-271-3151. Reservations are required. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Living Affirmations podcast. Tune in next time for more inspiring stories and lives well lived. We believe that every life is a story worth telling.